In November 1995, a struggling 19-year-old waiter named Marcus Williams served chicken and rice to a mysterious customer in a baseball cap at Chicago's Palmer House Hotel. The stranger left behind $2,000 in cash and a note that said, "For college, you'll do great things. A friend." For 27 years, Marcus carried the blank business card the man dropped, never knowing his life had been changed by the greatest basketball player who ever lived. This is the story of how one act of kindness created a circle that would transform hundreds of lives, and how Marcus finally discovered the truth in the most unexpected way possible. Chicago, November 15th, 1995. The Palmer House Hotel. Marcus Williams wiped down table 7 for the third time that night. His white shirt was wrinkled from the long shift, and his feet hurt in the cheap dress shoes he bought at Goodwill. The fancy Palmer House Hotel restaurant was almost empty now. Just him, the manager, and one customer. The clock on the wall showed 10:47 p.m. Marcus had been working since 3 o'clock. After this job, he would go home and study for his math test. Then he would sleep for 4 hours before his morning job at the gas station. This was his life. Work, study, work some more. Every day looked the same. Marcus was 19 years old, but he felt much older. His mom worked nights cleaning office buildings downtown. She came home tired every morning, her hands rough from scrubbing floors. His dad had left when Marcus was 12. One day he was there, the next day he wasn't. No goodbye, no explanation. "We don't need him," his mom had said, but Marcus saw her cry when she thought he wasn't looking. Now Marcus worked 2 jobs and went to community college part-time. He wanted to study business at a real university, but that cost money they didn't have. His grades were good enough. His dreams were big enough. But his bank account was almost empty. The last customer sat alone at table 7. He wore a baseball cap pulled low over his face and a simple black jacket. Marcus couldn't see him very well, but he looked tall, really tall. The man had been sitting there for an hour, eating slowly. He ordered simple food, grilled chicken, white rice, and water. No wine, no fancy sauce, no dessert. Marcus liked customers who didn't make extra work, but something about this man seemed different. He sat very straight, like an athlete. His shoulders were wide under the jacket. When he moved his hands, Marcus noticed they were huge. Long fingers, big palms. Marcus walked over with the coffee pot. "More water, sir?" The man looked up, and Marcus saw kind eyes under the cap. "Sure, thanks." His voice was deep and quiet. He seemed tired, but not the same tired that Marcus felt. This was a different kind of tired, like he was carrying something heavy in his mind. "You work here every night?" the man asked. "Most nights," Marcus said, pouring the water. "I have another job during the day." The man nodded slowly. "That's a lot of work for someone your age." Marcus shrugged. "Got to pay for school somehow." "What are you studying?" "Business." "Well, trying to study business. I'm at the community college now, but I want to go to DePaul University." "That's where you learn real business." "DePaul's a good school," the man said. "You play sports?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. This was always a hard question. "I used to play basketball. Had to quit junior year to work more hours." The man's face changed. Something sad crossed his eyes. "You were good. Good enough for the school team. Maybe good enough for college ball. But..." Marcus stopped talking. Why was he telling this? Stranger his problems. "But you had to choose," the man finished. "Yeah, had to choose." They stood there for a moment, not talking. The restaurant was very quiet. Marcus could hear the dishwasher running in the kitchen and cars passing by outside. "Tell me about your family," the man said. Marcus looked around. The manager was in her office doing paperwork. Nobody else was listening. "Just me and my mom. She works real hard. Cleans offices at night, so she can be home when I was little. Now I work nights, and she works nights, so we don't see each other much." "What about your dad?" Marcus's jaw got tight. "He's not around." The man nodded like he understood. "That's hard." "We do okay," Marcus said quickly. He didn't like people feeling sorry for him. "I bet you do. What's your dream? If you could do anything?" Marcus was surprised by the question. Nobody ever asked him about dreams. People asked about work schedules and bill payments and test grades. Not dreams. "I want to study business," Marcus said. "Learn how companies work. Maybe start my own company someday. Help other kids like me. Kids like you. You know. Kids who work hard but don't have money for good schools. Kids whose parents never went to college. I want to show Then it's possible. The man smiled for the first time that night. It was a real smile, not the polite smile customers usually gave. "That's a good dream," he said. "It's just a dream right now," Marcus said. DePaul costs $12,000 a year. Might as well be 12 million. The man took a sip of water. Dreams have a way of coming true when you work hard enough. Yeah, maybe. Marcus didn't want to sound bitter, but it was hard to believe sometimes. "What time do you get off work?" 11:30. "Then I go home and study until about 2 a.m. Up at 6 for my other job. Every day. 6 days a week. Sunday I just study." The man shook his head. "When do you have fun?" Marcus laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Fun costs money. Not all fun costs money. Most of it does. The man finished his chicken and pushed the plate away. "Can I have the check?" Marcus went to the register and printed the bill. $25.37. The man looked at it and pulled out his wallet. Marcus saw the wallet was thick with cash. More money than Marcus made in 2 weeks. But the man didn't act rich. He didn't act like he was better than Marcus. The man put a $100 bill on the table. "Sir, this is too much," Marcus said. "The bill is only $25. "I know," the man said, standing up. He was even taller than Marcus thought. At least 6'6". "But sir, the tip is..." Marcus did the math in his head. $75. That's too much. The man put on his jacket. "You work hard. You have good dreams. Keep working toward them. I can't take this much money," Marcus said. But the man was already walking toward the door. "Yes, you can. You earned it." Marcus followed him. "Wait, what's your name?" The man stopped at the door and looked back. Under the cap, Marcus could see he was smiling again. "Just someone who believes in you," he said. Then he was gone. Marcus stood in the doorway, holding the $100 bill. The parking lot was empty except for his old Honda Civic. No fancy cars, no sign of where the man went. Marcus went back inside, his hands shaking a little. $75. That was more than he made in 2 days at the gas station. At 11:30, Marcus finished cleaning the last table. His manager, Mrs. Rodriguez, came out of her office with an envelope. "Someone left this for you," she said. Marcus took the envelope. His name was written on the front in neat handwriting. Inside was $2,000 in cash and a folded piece of paper. The note said, "For college. You'll do great things. A friend." Marcus stared at the money. $2,000. Real money. More money than he had ever seen at one time. His eyes filled with tears. He sat down at table 7, where the man had been sitting, and counted the bills again. $2,100 bills. All real. "You okay, Marcus?" Mrs. Rodriguez asked. Marcus couldn't speak. He just nodded and wiped his eyes out. Mrs. Rodriguez looked at the money. "Holy cow. Who was that guy?" "I don't know," Marcus whispered. "Well, he must have seen something special in you." Marcus folded the money carefully and put it in his pocket. For the first time in years, he felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope that as he walked to his car, Marcus found something else on the ground by table 7. A business card. It was white and blank except for one thing, a phone number written in pen. Marcus picked it up and looked around the parking lot again. Still empty. He put the card in his wallet next to the $2,000. Someday, he thought, he would call that number. Someday he would find out who helped him. Someday he would say thank you. Marcus drove home through the quiet Chicago streets. At every red light, he touched his wallet to make sure the money was still there. It was real. It had really happened. When he got to his apartment, his mom was getting ready for work. She took one look at his face and knew something was different. "What happened, baby?" Marcus pulled out the money and showed her. His mom sat down hard on their old couch. "Marcus, where did this come from?" He told her about the tall man in the baseball cap, about the tip and the envelope and the note. His mom cried. Not sad tears, but happy tears. "An angel," she said. "God sent you an angel." Marcus looked at the money again. $2,000 wouldn't pay for all of college, but it was a start. With this money, student loans, and his job, maybe he could make it work. Maybe DePaul University wasn't just a dream anymore. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the man's questions, about dreams and hard work and kids like him. He thought about the man's sad eyes and kind smile. Who was he? Why did he help? How did he know Marcus needed it? Marcus got up and looked at the business card again. Just a phone number, nothing else. He thought about calling it. But it was almost 3 in the morning. Tomorrow, he decided. Tomorrow he would call and find out who changed his life. But when tomorrow came, Marcus lost his nerve. What would he say? How do you thank someone for giving you hope? Days turned into weeks. Marcus kept meaning to call the number, but he never did. He was scared the man might want the money back or that it was all a mistake. But Marcus kept the card. Every day for the next 27 years, he would carry it in his wallet. A reminder that sometimes, when you least expect it, the world can surprise you. Sometimes angels wear baseball caps and eat chicken and rice at fancy hotel restaurants. Sometimes they see something in you that you don't even see in yourself, and sometimes they change everything. Chicago, 1996 to 2000. DePaul University. Marcus stood outside the DePaul University admissions office, holding his acceptance letter. His hands were shaking, just like they had that night at the Palmer House Hotel. "You sure about this, baby?" his mom asked. She had taken the morning off work to come with him. Her cleaning uniform was replaced by her best dress, the blue one she wore to church. "I'm sure, Mama," Marcus said. This is what he wanted me to do with his gift. The mystery man's $2,000 had been the key. With that money, a partial scholarship, student loans, and his 2 jobs, Marcus could afford DePaul. Barely, but he could do it. Walking across campus that first day felt like walking into a different world. Students carried expensive backpacks and talked about spring break, trips to Florida. Marcus carried his books in a plastic bag and brought peanut butter sandwiches for lunch. But he belonged here. The stranger had believed in him, and now Marcus was starting to believe in himself. His first business class was Introduction to Management. The professor, Dr. Martinez, asked each student to share their goals. "I want to run my family's company someday," said a girl with a designer purse. "My dad says I should learn business before I take over his law firm," said a boy with perfect teeth. When it was Marcus's turn, he stood up slowly. "I want to help kids who work hard but don't have money for school. I want to show them that dreams can come true." Some students looked confused. Why would you want to help people instead of making money for yourself? But Dr. Martinez smiled and nodded. After class, Dr. Martinez pulled Marcus aside. "That's a noble goal, Marcus. Business isn't just about making money. It's about making a difference." Marcus thought about the stranger's question. "What's your dream?" Now he was living it. College was harder than Marcus expected. While other students studied in groups, Marcus studied alone in the library after his evening shift at a campus bookstore. While they went to parties on weekends, Marcus worked at the gas station. But Marcus didn't mind being different. Every time he felt tired or discouraged, he touched his wallet where he still kept that blank business card. Someone had believed in him enough to change his life. He couldn't let that person down. In his second year, Marcus met Sarah Chun in the library. She was studying for a nursing exam, surrounded by thick medical books. Her long black hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she wore scrubs from her job at Chicago General Hospital. "You work at the hospital?" Marcus asked, sitting at the table next to hers. Sarah looked up, surprised. She had kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "Yeah, I'm a nurse's aide. Trying to become a real nurse someday." "I work too," Marcus said. "2 jobs, actually." "What do you study?" "Business." "You?" "Nursing. I want to help sick people get better." Marcus smiled. "I want to help kids go to college." They started studying together. Sarah was as hardworking as Marcus, and just as determined. Her parents had come from Taiwan with nothing. They ran a small restaurant and worked 16 hours a day. "My parents never went to school past 6th grade," Sarah told Marcus one night. "They want me to have a better life." "My mom never went to college either," Marcus said. "She cleans offices so I can be here." They understood each other in a way that other students couldn't. They both knew what it meant to carry your families' dreams on your shoulders. On their first date, Marcus took Sarah to a free concert in Lincoln Park. They shared a bag of popcorn and talked until midnight. "Tell me about your family," Sarah said. Marcus told her about his mom, about his dad leaving, about working since he was 15. Then he told her about the stranger at the Palmer House Hotel. "Someone you never met just gave you $2,000, Sarah asked. "And changed my whole life," Marcus said. "I keep his business card in my wallet. Someday I want to find him and say thank you." "What if you never find him?" Marcus thought about this. "Then I'll find other ways to say thank you. I'll help other people the way he helped me." Sarah smiled. "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." They were both poor college students, but they were rich in dreams. Their dates were walks by Lake Michigan and study sessions in the library. They ate ramen noodles and shared textbooks. It was the happiest time of Marcus's life. In his third year, Marcus started a small business selling used textbooks to other students. He bought books at the end of each semester and sold them at the beginning of the next one. It wasn't much money, but it helped pay for food and bus fare. "You're a natural businessman," Dr. Martinez told him. "You see opportunities where others see problems." Marcus thought about the stranger again. Had he seen something in Marcus that night? Some spark of potential that even Marcus didn't know he had. During these college years, Marcus watched the Chicago Bulls on television whenever he could. Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player in the world. Everyone in Chicago loved him. Marcus cheered for number 23 like everyone else, never imagining that this basketball hero had any connection to his own story. The Bulls won championships in 1996, 1997, and 1998. Each time they won, the whole city celebrated. Marcus and Sarah watched the victory parades on TV from their small apartment near campus. "Must be nice to be that successful," Sarah said. "Must be nice to make people that happy," Marcus replied. That in his final year, Marcus's textbook business had grown. He was making enough money to help his mom pay some bills. For the first time in years, she didn't have to work overtime every week. "You did this, baby," she told him. "You took that blessing and made it grow." Marcus graduated from DePaul University in May 2000. He was the first person in his family to finish college. His mom cried during the ceremony, just like she had cried the night he showed her the mysterious gift. "That angel who helped you must be so proud," she whispered. After graduation, Marcus looked at his diploma and thought about the journey. 4 years ago, he was a tired waiter with no hope of college. Now he had a business degree and a plan for the future. He still carried the blank business card in his wallet. He had tried calling the number a few times over the years, but it was always disconnected. The mystery man remained a mystery, but Marcus had learned something important during college. Sometimes the best way to say thank you is to pass the gift forward. He opened a savings account and put $50 in it every month. "Someday," he told Sarah, "I'll help someone else the way someone helped me." Sarah had graduated too, with her nursing degree. They got engaged on the same bench in Lincoln Park where they had their first date. "What kind of business do you want to start?" Sarah asked. Marcus looked out at Lake Michigan, thinking, something that helps people, something that makes dreams come true. He didn't know it yet, but the stranger who had changed his life was still watching from a distance. Still proud of the young man who had turned a gift into something beautiful, still believing that Marcus Williams would do great things. And Marcus was just getting started. Chicago, 2001-2010. Marcus and Sarah got married on a sunny Saturday in June 2001. The wedding was small but perfect. They held it in the community center where Marcus used to play basketball as a kid. His mom cried happy tears. Sarah's parents flew in from Taiwan and smiled even though they spoke little English. Marcus wore a rented tuxedo and Sarah wore her grandmother's wedding dress. They couldn't afford a fancy wedding, but they didn't need one. They had each other and big dreams. "I promise to build a life with you," Marcus said during his vows. "A life that helps other people the way someone once helped me." Sarah squeezed his hand. "I promise to support your dreams and share mine with you." After the ceremony, Marcus's mom pulled him aside. "That stranger would be so proud to see you today," she whispered. Marcus touched his wallet where he still kept the business card. "I hope so, Mama. I really hope so." Their first apartment was tiny. 1 bedroom, a small kitchen, and a living room that barely fit a couch. But it was theirs. Marcus hung his college diploma on the wall next to a photo of their wedding day. Marcus started his real business in that little apartment. He bought and sold electronics, computers, phones, and cameras. He would find good deals at auctions and sell them to people who needed technology but couldn't afford store prices. "Why electronics?" Sarah asked one evening as Marcus tested a used computer. "Because technology helps people do amazing things," Marcus said. "A kid with a computer can learn anything. A family with a good phone can stay connected. I'm not just selling gadgets. I'm selling possibilities." Sarah smiled. She was working at Chicago General Hospital now, helping sick children get better. They were both in the business of helping people, just in different ways. Marcus's business grew slowly but steadily. He rented a small storefront on the south side of Chicago. The sign outside read, Williams Electronics, technology for everyone. Marcus treated every customer like family. If someone couldn't afford a computer, he would set up a payment plan. If a student needed a laptop for school, Marcus would find a way to make it work. You're too nice, other business owners told him. You'll never make real money that way. But Marcus wasn't trying to get rich. He was trying to build something that mattered. Every month, Marcus still put $50 in his special savings account. The account he called his Angel Fund. By 2003, he had saved over $1,000. When will you use it? Sarah asked. When I find the right person to help, Marcus said. That person turned out to be closer than he thought. Maria Santos worked at the coffee shop next to Marcus's store. She was 18 years old and went to community college at night. Marcus saw her studying between customers, her textbooks spread out by the coffee machine. One day, Marcus overheard Maria talking to her manager. I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson. I know. I asked for more hours, but my financial aid got cut. I need to work more to pay for school. I wish I could help, Maria, but business is slow. Maria's shoulders dropped. Marcus watched her wipe tears from her eyes when she thought no one was looking. That night, Marcus talked to Sarah about Maria. She reminds me of myself at that age, he said. Working hard, dreaming big, but struggling to make it work. What are you thinking? Sarah asked, but she already knew. Marcus smiled. I'm thinking it's time to use the Angel Fund. Marcus created a fake scholarship program called Chicago Angels Scholarship. He made official-looking papers on his computer and mailed them to Maria. The letter said she had been chosen to receive $2,000 for school expenses. No strings attached, just someone who believed in her dreams. When Maria got the letter, she ran into Marcus's store, crying and laughing at the same time. Did you see this? She asked, waving the letter. Someone gave me a scholarship. $2,000. Marcus pretended to read the letter for the first time. That's amazing, Maria. You must have really impressed someone. But I never applied for this scholarship. I don't understand. Sometimes good things happen when you work hard and stay hopeful, Marcus said. Thinking about his own mysterious gift, Maria hugged the letter to her chest. I can stay in school now. I can become a teacher like I always wanted. Marcus felt the same joy he had felt that night at the Palmer House Hotel. The joy of having someone believe in your dreams. Over the next few years, Marcus's business continued to grow. He opened a second store, then a third. Sarah got promoted to head nurse in the children's ward. They were doing well, but they never forgot where they came from. In 2005, their daughter Emma was born. She had Sarah's dark hair and Marcus's bright smile. Marcus held her in the hospital and made a promise. Emma, your daddy's going to build a world where every kid has a chance to follow their dreams. 2 years later, their son Jake was born. He was curious about everything, always reaching for things just out of his grasp. Just like his daddy, Sarah laughed. Marcus loved being a father. Every night, he told Emma and Jake bedtime stories. Not fairy tales about princes and castles, but real stories about kindness and hard work. Once upon a time, Marcus would begin. There was a young man who worked very hard but didn't have much money. Then one day, a stranger helped him in a wonderful way. What did the stranger do, Daddy? Emma would ask. He showed the young man that dreams can come true if you believe in them. Did the young man ever find the stranger? Marcus would touch his wallet where the business card still lived. Not yet, sweetie. But he never stopped being grateful. As the children grew, Marcus continued his secret scholarship program. After Maria, he helped David Kim, a young man who stocked shelves at night and studied engineering during the day. Then Lisa Rodriguez, who wanted to be a doctor but couldn't afford medical school preparation classes. Each time, Marcus created the same story, the Chicago Angels Scholarship Program. Each time, he felt the joy of giving someone hope. Sarah always helped him choose who to help next. What about that girl at the grocery store? She would suggest. She's always reading textbooks while she works. By 2009, Marcus had helped 8 young people go to college. None of them knew who really paid for their scholarships. They only knew that someone believed in them. That same year, Marcus's mom got sick. Diabetes and high blood pressure from years of hard work and stress. For a while, the doctors weren't sure she would get better. Marcus sat by her hospital bed, holding her hand. You're going to be okay, Mama. We can afford the best doctors now. Everything's going to be fine. His mom squeezed his hand weakly. You did good, baby. You took that blessing and made it grow into something beautiful. Thanks to good medical care they could afford because of the life that mysterious gift had helped build, Marcus's mom got better. She moved into a nice apartment near Marcus and Sarah, where she could see her grandchildren every day. That angel is still watching over us, she told Marcus. Marcus thought about this often. Was the stranger still out there somewhere? Did he know what had happened to the young waiter he had helped? Every few years, Marcus tried calling the phone number on the business card, but it was always disconnected. The trail had gone cold long ago. Still, Marcus never gave up hope. Somewhere in Chicago, maybe somewhere in the world, there was a person who had changed his life forever. Someday, somehow, Marcus would find him. In the meantime, Marcus had work to do, dreams to build, young people to help, a family to love. The business was thriving. The Angel Fund was growing. Emma and Jake were healthy and happy. Sarah loved her job helping sick children. Life was good. Better than Marcus had ever dared to dream that night at the Palmer House Hotel. But Marcus Williams was still just getting started. The best was yet to come. And somewhere in the city, a famous basketball player was watching from a distance, proud of the young man who had turned a gift into a legacy of hope. Chicago, 2011-2018. Marcus stood in front of his newest store on Michigan Avenue. The sign read, Williams Electronics, technology that changes lives. 10 stores across Chicago now, over 50 employees, a business that had grown far beyond his wildest dreams. But Marcus's proudest moments didn't happen in boardrooms or at grand openings. They happened in coffee shops and libraries and late-night diners, places where he found young people who reminded him of himself. Emma was 6 now, and Jake was 4. They loved visiting Daddy's stores and playing with the computers. But what they loved most were the stories Marcus told them about helping others. Tell us about the coffee shop girl again, Emma would beg. Marcus would tell them about Maria Santos, now a teacher at Lincoln Elementary School, how she sent him a Christmas card every year, thanking the mysterious Chicago Angels scholarship program that had changed her life. She doesn't know it was really you, Jake asked. Nope. And that's the best part. She thinks an angel helped her, just like an angel helped me. Sarah would smile from the kitchen where she was making dinner. After 12 years of marriage, she still loved watching Marcus tell these stories. His eyes would light up the same way they had that first night he told her about the stranger at the Palmer House Hotel. In 2012, Marcus found his next person to help. Tommy Chin worked at the 24-hour laundromat near Marcus's house. No relation to Sarah, just another young man with the same last name and the same determined look in his eyes. Marcus often did his family's laundry there on Sunday mornings. Tommy was always working, always studying. Engineering textbooks spread out between loads of clothes. You go to school? Marcus asked one Sunday. Tommy looked up from his calculus homework. Community college. Trying to transfer to University of Illinois for engineering. That's expensive. Tommy's face got tight. Yeah, my parents work 3 jobs between them. We own a restaurant, but business is slow. I'm trying to save money, but college costs keep going up. Marcus nodded, remembering his own struggles. What kind of engineering? Computer engineering. I want to design programs that help people solve problems. That was all Marcus needed to hear. 2 weeks later, Tommy received a letter from the Chicago Angels Scholarship Program, $5,000 for his transfer to University of Illinois. Tommy brought the letter to the laundromat, tears in his eyes. Mr. Williams, look at this. Someone gave me a scholarship. Marcus pretended to read the letter carefully. Tommy, that's incredible. You must have really impressed someone with your hard work. But I never applied for this. I don't understand how they found me. Sometimes, Marcus said, folding his son's tiny t-shirts, good things happen to good people who work hard and never give up. Tommy graduated from University of Illinois in 2015 and got a job at a tech company in downtown Chicago. He sent a thank you letter to the Chicago Angels Scholarship Program every year on the anniversary of receiving the money. Marcus kept all these letters in a special box at home. He never responded to them, but he read each one multiple times. Over the next few years, Marcus helped more students. Jessica Williams, no relation, who wanted to be a nurse like Sarah. Roberto Morales, who stocked shelves at night and studied to be a teacher during the day. Amanda Foster, who cleaned offices like Marcus's mom used to do and dreamed of becoming a social worker. Each scholarship was bigger now. Marcus could afford to give more. Some students got $5,000, others got $10,000. Whatever they needed to make their dreams possible. By 2016, Marcus had helped 15 young people go to college. 15 futures changed. 15 families lifted up. How do you choose who to help? Sarah asked one evening as they watched the news together. Marcus thought about this. I look for kids who remind me of myself. Kids who work hard but need a break. Kids who have big dreams but small bank accounts. And kids who would use the money wisely. That too. Just like someone saw something in me that night. Marcus still tried calling the phone number on the business card every few years. Still disconnected. The mystery man remained a mystery, but Marcus had stopped feeling sad about not finding him. Instead, he felt grateful every day. The stranger's gift had grown into something much bigger than college tuition for one person. It had become a way of life for Marcus's whole family. Emma and Jake knew about Daddy's secret scholarship program. They helped him pick who to help next. What about her? Emma would whisper when they saw a young woman studying at Starbucks. She looks tired like you used to be, Daddy. Jake would add. The children understood that helping others was just what their family did. Like some families had traditions of Sunday dinners or yearly vacations, the Williams family had a tradition of changing lives. In 2017, Marcus's business hit a major milestone. Williams Electronics made over $2 million in profit. Marcus could have bought a bigger house or fancy cars. Instead, he increased his scholarship giving. That year, he helped 5 students instead of his usual 2. The Chicago Angels scholarship program gave away $50,000. Are you sure about this? Sarah asked, looking at their bank account. I'm sure, Marcus said. We have enough. More than enough. It's time to give more. But all the success and giving couldn't protect Marcus from everything. In early 2018, he started having chest pains. The doctor said it was stress from working too hard. You need to slow down, Dr. Peterson told him. Your body is telling you to take a break. Sarah was worried. Maybe you're doing too much. The business, the scholarships, the kids. Marcus sat in the doctor's office, thinking about his life. 15 stores now. 23 young people helped through college. A beautiful family. A loving wife. I can't slow down, he told Sarah on the drive home. There are too many kids out there who need help. Too many dreams waiting to come true. But what good are you to them if you work yourself to death? Marcus knew she was right. But every time he thought about slowing down, he remembered that night at the Palmer House Hotel. He remembered feeling hopeless and then suddenly having hope. How many kids were out there right now, feeling the same way he had felt? How many were working late shifts and studying by streetlights and dreaming of college they couldn't afford? I'll be more careful, Marcus promised Sarah. But I can't stop. Not yet. That night, Marcus lay in bed staring at the ceiling. His chest felt tight, but not from heart problems. From the weight of knowing how much more work there was to do. Somewhere in Chicago, there was a young person working late, dreaming big, and needing help. Marcus could feel it. The same way that stranger had somehow felt his need that night 23 years ago. Marcus reached for his wallet on the nightstand and pulled out the old business card. Still blank except for that disconnected phone number. Still a mystery. After all these years. I wish I could find you, Marcus whispered to the card. I wish I could show you what your kindness became. Outside his window, the city lights twinkled like stars. Somewhere out there, Marcus's scholarship recipients were living their dreams. Maria was teaching children. Tommy was designing computer programs. Jessica was helping sick people get better. And somewhere out there, maybe the mystery man was still living too. Still proud of the young waiter who had turned one night of kindness into a lifetime of giving. Marcus fell asleep holding the business card, not knowing that in just 4 years, he would finally get the chance to say thank you. The circle was about to close in the most amazing way possible. Chicago. March 8, 2022. Marcus stood behind the counter of his flagship store on Michigan Avenue, checking inventory on his computer. Emma was 17 now, almost ready for college herself. Jake was 14 and played basketball at his high school. The years had been good to the Williams family. The chest pains had gotten better after Marcus finally listened to Sarah and hired a general manager for his stores. He still worked hard, but not the crazy hours that had nearly killed him. The Chicago Angels scholarship program was bigger than ever. Last year, Marcus had helped 8 students with a total of $80,000. 27 young people had gone to college because of the mystery man's original gift at the Palmer House Hotel. Marcus was thinking about this when his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, probably another sales call. Williams. Electronics, this is Marcus. Is this Marcus Williams? A woman asked. Her voice was professional but friendly. Yes, speaking. This might sound very strange, but did you work at the Palmer House Hotel restaurant in 1995? Marcus's hand froze on the phone. His heart started beating fast. In 27 years, no one had ever asked him that question. Yes, he said slowly. Yes, I did. Who is this? My name is Jennifer Walsh. I work for Michael Jordan. Mr. Jordan would like to meet with you. The phone slipped in Marcus's sweaty hand. He almost dropped it. Michael Jordan, he repeated. The basketball player? Yes, sir. He has something very important to discuss with you. Are you available to come to his office tomorrow at 2 p.m.? Marcus's mind was spinning. Michael Jordan? The greatest basketball player who ever lived? Why would he want to meet a small business owner from Chicago? Ah, yes. I mean, of course. But can you tell me what this is about? Mr. Jordan will explain everything when you see him. I can text you the address. Will tomorrow at 2 p.m. work? Marcus looked around his store. His employees were helping customers. Everything was normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. Yes, he managed to say. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Excellent. Mr. Jordan is looking forward to meeting you, Marcus. The line went dead. Marcus stared at his phone like it might explode. Michael Jordan wanted to meet with him. Michael Jordan knew he had worked at the Palmer House Hotel in 1995. But how? And why? Marcus's heart was pounding so hard he had to sit down. His manager, Tony, came over looking worried. You okay, boss? You look like you saw a ghost. I think I might have, Marcus whispered. Marcus left work early and drove home in a daze. Sarah was in the kitchen making dinner when he walked in. You're home early, she said, then saw his face. What's wrong? Are you having chest pains again? No, it's not that. Marcus sat down at the kitchen table. Sarah, you're not going to believe what just happened. He told her about the phone call, about Jennifer Walsh and Michael Jordan and the meeting tomorrow. Sarah sat down across from him, her mouth open. Michael Jordan? Why would Michael Jordan want to meet with you? I don't know. But Sarah, she asked about the Palmer House Hotel. She knew I worked there in 1995. Sarah's eyes got wide. You think this is about? Marcus pulled out his wallet and took out the old business card. Still blank except for that phone number that had been disconnected for years. What if it's him? Marcus whispered. What if Michael Jordan is the mystery man who helped me? But that's impossible. Why would Michael Jordan be eating alone in a hotel restaurant? He's famous. People would have recognized him. Marcus thought about this. Remember what I told you about that night? He wore a baseball cap pulled low. I couldn't see his face very well. And this was 1995. No cell phone cameras, no social media. Maybe he could eat somewhere without being noticed. Sarah reached across the table and took his hand. Marcus, even if it's not him, this is incredible. Michael Jordan wants to meet you. That's amazing all by itself. But Marcus knew in his heart it was more than that. The timing was too perfect. The question about the Palmer House Hotel was too specific. After 27 years of wondering, after 27 years of carrying that business card, the answer was finally coming. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened since that November night in 1995. College, marriage, children, business success. 27 young people helped through the scholarship program. All because a stranger in a baseball cap had believed in him. What if that stranger was Michael Jordan? What if the greatest basketball player in history had been sitting at table 7, eating chicken and rice, changing Marcus's life forever? Marcus got up and went to his home office. He opened the special box where he kept all the thank you letters from his scholarship recipients. 27 letters from 27 grateful students. Maria Santos, now teaching 3rd grade. Dear Chicago Angels, you saved my dreams when I thought they were impossible. Tommy Chun, now designing apps at Google. I think about your kindness every single day. You changed my whole family's life. Jessica Williams, now a head nurse at Northwestern Memorial. Because of you, I help sick children get better. Your gift keeps giving through everything I do. Marcus read letter after letter. Each one was a life changed. Each one was proof that kindness grows when you share it. If Michael Jordan really was his mystery helper, Marcus couldn't wait to show him these letters. To show him how far his gift had traveled, Emma came downstairs for a glass of water and found her dad reading letters at 2 a.m. "Daddy, why are you awake?" Marcus looked up at his beautiful daughter. In 1 year, she would go to college. She wanted to study education, just like Maria Santos. Maybe she would get help from the scholarship program her father had built. "I might meet someone very important tomorrow," Marcus told her. "Someone who changed our whole family's life before you were even born. The mystery man from your story." Marcus smiled. Emma had heard the Palmer House Hotel story 100 times. "Maybe. I think maybe." Emma sat down next to her father. "Are you scared?" "A little." "What do you say to someone who gave you everything? How do you thank someone for changing not just your life, but the lives of 27 other people too?" "You just tell the truth," Emma said. "You tell them what happened because of their kindness." Marcus hugged his daughter. "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from my dad. He taught me that kindness is the most important thing in the world." The next morning came slowly. Marcus put on his best suit, the same one he wore to business meetings and his children's school events. Sarah helped him pick out a tie. "You look perfect," she said, straightening his collar. "Just remember, whatever happens today, you've already made that person proud. Look at what you've built from their gift." Marcus kissed his wife goodbye and drove toward downtown Chicago, toward answers he had been waiting 27 years to hear, toward a meeting with the man who might have saved his life with chicken, rice, and $2,000 in cash. The circle was about to close, and Marcus Williams was finally going to say thank you. Chicago, March 9th, 2022. Jordan Brand office. Marcus arrived at the Jordan Brand office 30 minutes early. He sat in his car in the parking lot, trying to calm his nerves. The building was impressive, all glass and steel, with the famous Jordan logo displayed proudly near the entrance. His hands were shaking again, just like they had 27 years ago when he found that envelope of money. Marcus looked at himself in the rearview mirror. Gray was starting to show in his hair, lines around his eyes from years of hard work and laughter with his children. He was not the scared 19-year-old waiter anymore. He was a successful businessman, a loving husband, a proud father. But right now, he felt exactly like that young man who had served chicken and rice to a stranger in a baseball CAP at exactly 1:55 p.m. Marcus walked into the building. The lobby was filled with basketball memorabilia, championship trophies, signed jerseys, photos of Michael Jordan making impossible shots. Marcus felt like he was walking through a museum of greatness. "Mr. Williams?" A woman approached him. She was about 40, with kind eyes and a warm smile. "I'm Jennifer Walsh. Thank you so much for coming." "Thank you for calling," Marcus said, his voice more nervous than he wanted it to be. Jennifer led him through hallways lined with more photos and awards. Marcus saw pictures of Jordan with presidents, celebrities, and world leaders. What could a man this famous possibly want with him? They stopped outside a wooden door with a simple nameplate. "Michael Jordan, Chairman. He's waiting for you," Jennifer said, knocking softly. "Come in," called a deep voice from inside. Jennifer opened the door, and Marcus stepped into the office. It was large, but not flashy. A big desk, comfortable chairs, and windows overlooking downtown Chicago. Behind the desk sat the most famous athlete in the world. Michael Jordan stood up and walked around his desk. He was still tall and athletic at 59, but his hair was gray now. He wore a simple black suit and moved with the same grace Marcus remembered from watching him play basketball. But there was something else, something familiar about the way he walked, something that made Marcus's heart skip a beat. "Marcus," Jordan said, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time." Marcus shook the offered hand. Those fingers were still long and strong, just like the hands he had noticed that night at table 7. "Mr. Jordan, it's an honor to meet you. But I have to ask, why did you want to see me?" Jordan smiled, and suddenly Marcus was back in the Palmer House Hotel restaurant. That same gentle smile, that same look of kindness in his eyes. "Please, sit down," Jordan said, gesturing to a chair across from his desk. "Do you remember November 15th, 1995? Marcus felt the world stop spinning around him. "The Palmer House." Jordan nodded slowly. "Table 7. You were working the late shift. I ordered grilled chicken, white rice, and water. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. After 27 years of wondering, after carrying that business card in his wallet through everything, college, marriage, starting his business, raising his children, he finally had his answer. "It was you," Marcus whispered. "It was me," Jordan said softly. Marcus put his face in his hands and cried. Not sad tears, but tears of relief and joy and gratitude. All the emotions he had been carrying for nearly 3 decades came pouring out. Jordan waited patiently, understanding that this moment needed time. Finally, Marcus looked up. "Why? Why were you there that night? Why did you help me?" Jordan leaned back in his chair, his own eyes getting misty. "Marcus, that was one of the hardest times in my life. I had just come back to basketball after trying to play baseball. Everyone expected me to be perfect, to pick up right where I left off. But I was struggling. I felt lost." Marcus listened, amazed. Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever, had felt lost? "I went to that restaurant to be alone," Jordan continued. "To think, to try to figure out who I was if I wasn't the basketball player everyone expected me to be. But you seemed so calm that night." Jordan smiled. "You reminded me of something I had forgotten. You treated me like a regular person, not like Michael Jordan the celebrity, just like a customer who needed a meal. I didn't know who you were. The baseball cap covered your face. That was the point. But Marcus, you did something more important than serve me food. You talked to me about real things. Your dreams, your family, your hope for the future. You reminded me why I loved helping people." Marcus was crying again. "I told you I wanted to help kids like me someday. You did. And in that moment, sitting in that restaurant feeling sorry for myself, you reminded me what really mattered. It wasn't about basketball or fame or money. It was about using whatever gifts you have to help other people." Jordan reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a thick folder. "Marcus, I've been following your story for 27 years." He opened the folder and spread out newspaper clippings, photos, and printed articles. Marcus saw his wedding announcement from the Chicago Tribune, a business article about Williams Electronics, a photo of him at a community event. "You kept track of me all this time." "I had to know," Jordan said. "I had to see if that young man with big dreams would make them come true." Marcus looked through the papers, amazed. There was an article about his mom's recovery from her illness, a photo of Emma at a school science fair, even a mention of his scholarship program in a community newsletter. "I'm so proud of you," Jordan said, his voice thick with emotion. "You became exactly who I thought you could be that night. But why didn't you ever reach out? Why wait until now?" Jordan smiled. "Because you needed to become who you were supposed to be first. If I had told you who I was back then, you might have felt like you owed me something. Instead, you owed it to yourself and to your own dreams." Marcus pulled out his wallet with shaking hands. He removed the old business card, creased and worn, from 27 years of being carried everywhere. "I've had this since that night. I tried calling the number so many times." Jordan looked at the card and laughed. "That was my private line back then. I changed it years ago for security reasons. But Marcus, I kept the other half." Jordan opened his desk drawer again and pulled out another piece of paper. It was the other half of the same business card, with his old handwriting on it. "Marcus Williams, Palmer House, November 15th, 1995, never forget." Marcus stared at the matching pieces. "You wrote down my name?" "I wrote down everything about that night. Because you changed my life just as much as I changed yours." "I changed your life? How?" Jordan stood up and walked to the window overlooking the city. "Marcus, I was thinking about retiring that night. I was tired of the pressure, tired of everyone's expectations. I felt empty despite all my success." He turned back to Marcus. "But you reminded me that success isn't about what you achieve. It's about what you do with what you've been given. You had so little, but you dreamed of helping others. I had so much, but I had forgotten why it mattered." "What do you mean?" "I came back the next season and played some of the best basketball of my career. We won 3 more championships. But more importantly, I started really thinking about how to use my platform to help people. Your words that night, about wanting to help kids like you, they stayed with me." Marcus was speechless. And then, Jordan continued, sitting back down. "When I found out about your scholarship program 5 years ago, I knew I had to get involved." "What do you mean?" Jordan smiled. "Marcus, who do you think has been secretly funding the Chicago Angels scholarship program for the past 5 years?" "Marcus, Felt like he couldn't breathe. What? When my people told me about a businessman in Chicago quietly helping kids go to college, and when they said his name was Marcus Williams, I had to investigate. When I confirmed it was you, the same young man from the Palmer house, I knew. The circle was still growing. You've been funding my scholarship program, partially, through a foundation that doesn't use my name. Marcus, together we've actually helped 47 young people go to college, not just the 27 you know about. Marcus put his head in his hands again. 47 lives changed. 47 futures made possible. All because of one night when two strangers met in a hotel restaurant. There's one more thing, Jordan said gently. Marcus looked up, wondering how this day could possibly hold any more surprises. Jordan reached into his desk one final time and pulled out something. That made Marcus gasp. The IT was the other half of that business card. But this piece had writing on it too. Writing that Marcus had never seen before. But what? Marcus managed to ask. Jordan handed him the card. On it, in his own handwriting from 1995, Jordan had written, "For Elizabeth Williams, a promise kept." Marcus stared at the name, his heart stopping completely. Elizabeth Williams was your aunt, wasn't she? Jordan asked softly, and with those words, the last piece of the puzzle fell into place. Chicago, March 9th, 2022. Jordan Brand office. Marcus stared at the business card with Elizabeth Williams's name written on it. His hands were shaking so hard, he could barely hold the paper. Elizabeth Williams, he whispered. How do you know that name? Jordan's face was gentle but serious. Marcus, do you remember what you told me that night about your biggest dream? Marcus tried to think back through his tears. I said I wanted to help kids like me go to college. That's what you said second, Jordan corrected softly. Do you remember what you said first? Marcus closed his eyes, trying to remember. That night felt like a lifetime ago, but also like yesterday. I said. Marcus paused, the memory coming back slowly. I said I wanted to meet my hero someday. And who was your hero? Marcus's eyes flew open. I told you about a teacher who started a scholarship program for poor kids in Chicago. The first one ever. Back in 1987. Jordan nodded. Elizabeth Williams. But how could you possibly know that? I barely knew anything about her myself. Jordan leaned forward in his chair. Marcus, after that night with you, I couldn't stop thinking about what you said. You talked about this teacher who helped kids like you, but you seemed sad when you mentioned her. I was sad. She was my father's sister, my aunt, but I never got to meet her. Why not? Marcus felt the old pain in his chest. My dad left when I was 12. He was too proud to ask for help from anyone, even family. When he left, we lost touch with everyone on his side. Jordan opened another folder on his desk. Inside were old newspaper articles from the 1980s and 1990s. After our conversation, I did some research. Elizabeth Williams started the first private scholarship fund for underprivileged kids in Chicago in 1987. She was a teacher at Garfield Elementary School. Marcus looked at the newspaper clippings. There were photos of a woman who looked like his father. The same eyes, the same determined expression. She helped 12 kids go to college before she died in 1994, Jordan continued. Just 1 year before we met. She died in 1994. Marcus felt like crying again. I never knew. Marcus, there's more. I found records showing that Elizabeth tried to contact your family in 1993. She wanted to help with your education costs. Jordan pulled out a photocopy of an old letter. The address was Marcus's old apartment, but the letter was marked "Return to Sender." Your father sent it back unopened, Jordan said gently. Marcus read the letter through his tears. Dear Marcus, you don't know me, but I'm your Aunt Elizabeth, your father's sister. I heard through old friends that you're a good student who works hard. I've started a scholarship program to help kids like you go to college. I would be honored to help my own nephew achieve his dreams. Please call me. Love. Aunt Elizabeth. She tried to help me, Marcus whispered. She tried to help me directly, and my dad was too proud to let her. That's why what you told me that night hit me so hard, Jordan said. You were talking about your hero, a woman who helped kids go to college, and you didn't even know she was your aunt. You didn't know she had tried to help you personally. Marcus was crying openly now. So when you helped me, I was carrying on your family's tradition. Elizabeth Williams was helping kids like you years before I ever thought about it. When I met you, and you told me your name was Williams, and you talked about wanting to help others, I knew I had to look into it. Jordan stood up and walked around his desk to sit in the chair next to Marcus. Marcus, I didn't just help you that night because you seem like a good kid. I helped you because I realized you were Elizabeth Williams's nephew. The nephew she had tried to help but couldn't reach. You knew all along. I suspected after our conversation. I confirmed it the next day when I had someone look into your family background. Elizabeth Williams had died just 8 months before we met. She never got to help you, but she would have been so proud of what you've accomplished. Marcus looked at all the papers spread across Jordan's desk. His whole life story was there, but now it included pieces he had never known about. "There's something else," Jordan said softly. "Something I think will make you very happy." He pulled out one more folder. This one was newer, with recent photos and documents. "Do you remember Carlos Morales? One of your scholarship recipients from 2019. Marcus nodded. "He wanted to be a teacher. Reminded me a lot of myself. Carlos is now teaching at Garfield Elementary School, the same school where your Aunt Elizabeth taught." Marcus's jaw dropped. "What? He doesn't know the connection." "But Marcus, Carlos is teaching in the same classroom where your aunt taught 30 years ago. He's helping kids just like she did, just like you've been doing." Jordan showed Marcus photos of Carlos with his students, young faces full of hope and curiosity. "The circle isn't just between you and me," Jordan said. "It goes back to Elizabeth, forward to Carlos, and out to every kid we've helped together." Marcus felt overwhelmed by the beauty of it all. "My aunt started helping kids in 1987, 35 years ago, and because of her inspiration and your determination and our partnership, we've now helped 47 young people go to college. 47 futures changed because Elizabeth Williams believed in the power of education. She never got to help me directly, but she helped me anyway," Marcus said, understanding finally. "Through you. Through all of us. Marcus, your aunt may have died before she could meet you, but her legacy lives on in everything you've done. Every scholarship you've given, every kid you've helped. That's Elizabeth Williams's dream continuing to grow." Jordan reached into his desk one last time and pulled out a small wooden box. "I've been saving this for the right moment," he said, handing it to Marcus. Inside the box was a gold pin. It was simple but beautiful, with the words Elizabeth Williams Foundation engraved on it. "What is this?" Marcus asked. "A proposal," Jordan said with a smile. "I want us to make our partnership official. I want to start a Rayall Foundation in your aunt's name. Together, we can help hundreds of kids, not just dozens." Marcus stared at the pin, thinking about his aunt who had died never knowing if her work mattered. Thinking about all the young people they had already helped. Thinking about all the kids still out there who needed hope. "Elizabeth would have loved this," Marcus said. "She would have loved you," Jordan replied. "She would have been so proud of the man you became. You turned out exactly like her, someone who uses their gifts to lift others up." Marcus put the pin back in the box carefully. "When do we start?" Jordan grinned. "We already started 35 years ago when Elizabeth helped her first student. We continued 27 years ago when we met. We're just making it official. Now, the Elizabeth Williams Foundation," Marcus said, testing how it sounded. "Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?" Marcus thought about calling Sarah to tell her everything. About telling Emma and Jake that their family's tradition of helping others went back even farther than they knew. About visiting Garfield Elementary School to see the classroom where his aunt had taught. But first, he had something important to do. Marcus stood up and walked over to Michael Jordan. This man who had saved his life, who had believed in his dreams, who had kept his aunt's legacy alive without even being asked. "Thank you," Marcus said, hugging the man who had been a mystery for 27 years. "Thank you for everything." "Thank you," Jordan replied, hugging him back. "Thank you for reminding me what really matters." When they broke apart, both men were smiling through their tears. The circle was complete, but it was also just beginning. Chicago, March 9th, 2022. Evening. Marcus drove home through the familiar streets of Chicago, but everything looked different. Now, the city lights seemed brighter. The lake looked more beautiful. Even the traffic didn't bother him. In the passenger seat sat a folder full of documents about the Elizabeth Williams Foundation. Next to it was the small wooden box with the gold pin. But most importantly, Marcus finally had answers to questions he had carried for 27 years. His phone had been buzzing with texts from Sarah. "How did it go? Are you okay? Call me when you can. Marcus pulled into his driveway and sat in the car for a moment. Through the kitchen window, he could see his family waiting for him. Sarah was pacing back and forth. Emma was doing homework at the table but kept looking toward the door. Jake was pretending to watch TV, but Marcus could tell he was listening. For the car, they had been waiting all day to hear about the meeting. Now Marcus had to figure out how to explain that their whole family history was different than they thought. Marcus walked through the front door carrying the folder and the box. His family surrounded him immediately. "Dad," Emma jumped up from her homework. "Was it really him? Was it Michael Jordan? How do you feel?" Sarah asked, studying his face carefully. "You look different." Jake paused his video game. "Did you get to meet the greatest basketball player ever?" Marcus sat down in his favorite chair and looked at his family. Where should he even begin? "Yes, it was Michael Jordan," he said slowly. "And yes, he was the man who helped me at the Palmer House Hotel in 1995. Sarah sat down hard on the couch. "I can't believe it. Michael Jordan was your mystery helper all along." "But that's not the most amazing part," Marcus continued. He opened the folder and pulled out the newspaper clippings about Elizabeth Williams. "Kids, did you know you had a great aunt named Elizabeth?" Emma and Jake looked confused. "Great aunt?" Emma asked. "Your grandfather's sister. She died before you were born, before I even met your mom. But she was doing something very special. Before she died." Marcus showed them the old articles about Elizabeth's scholarship program, about the kids she helped in the 1980s and early 1990s. "She was helping students go to college 35 years ago," Marcus explained. "Our family has been in the business of changing lives for over 3 decades. Sarah picked up one of the photos of Elizabeth. "She looks like you, Marcus." "Same. Eyes, same smile." "And here's the most incredible part," Marcus said, his voice getting emotional again. "Elizabeth tried to help me go to college in 1993. She sent a letter offering to pay for my education." "What happened?" Jake asked. "Your grandfather was too proud to accept help from family. He sent the letter back without opening it." Sarah gasped. "She tried to help you directly?" "Yes. And when Michael Jordan met me 2 years later, and I told him about wanting to help kids like the teacher who started the first scholarship program in Chicago, he realized I was talking about my own aunt." Marcus pulled out the letter Elizabeth had tried to send him. Sarah read it out loud, her voice breaking. "Dear Marcus, you don't know me, but I'm your Aunt Elizabeth." When she finished, Emma was crying. "She wanted to help you, but she never got the chance." "That's right. So when Michael Jordan helped me, he was really continuing what Aunt Elizabeth had started. And when I started helping other students, I was continuing her work too, even though I didn't know it." Marcus opened the wooden box and showed them the gold pin. "Michael Jordan wants us to start an official foundation together, the Elizabeth Williams Foundation. We're going to help hundreds of kids go to college." Jake looked at the pin with wide eyes. "So Michael Jordan is going to be our partner?" "He already has been. For the past 5 years, he's been secretly helping fund our scholarship program. The kids I thought I was helping with my own money, Michael Jordan was helping pay for them too." Sarah shook her head in amazement. 47 kids total? 47 kids whose lives changed because of Aunt Elizabeth's original idea, continued by Michael Jordan, continued by us. Emma picked up one of the newspaper articles. "Dad, look at this. Elizabeth Williams taught at Garfield Elementary School." "I know. And guess what? Carlos Morales, one of the kids we helped in 2019, now teaches there too. In the same classroom where your great-aunt taught." The family sat in silence for a moment, absorbing the incredible connections. "This is like a movie," Jake said finally. "Better than a movie," Sarah replied. "Because it's real." Marcus's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and smiled. "It's my mom. I should tell her about Elizabeth." Marcus put the phone on speaker so his family could hear. "Marcus, baby, how did your big meeting go?" "Mom, you're not going to believe this. The man who helped me 27 years ago was Michael Jordan." His mom was quiet for a long moment. "Michael Jordan? The basketball player?" "Yes, Mom. But there's something else. Something about Dad's family." Marcus told his mother about Elizabeth Williams, about the scholarship program she started, about the letter she had tried to send. His mom started crying on the phone. "Elizabeth? Oh, honey, I remember Elizabeth. She was such a sweet woman. Your father talked about her sometimes, before he got so stubborn about accepting help from anyone. You knew her. We met a few times before your dad left. She was a teacher, always talking about helping kids. She would have loved you so much, Marcus. She tried to help me, Mom. She tried to pay for my college. And your father was too proud to let her." His mom's voice was sad, but not angry. He thought accepting help meant he was failing as a father. He never understood that sometimes accepting help is how you succeed. "Well, she helped me anyway," Marcus said. "Through Michael Jordan. Through the foundation we're going to start in her name. The Elizabeth Williams Foundation," his mom repeated. "She would be so proud, baby. So very proud." After Marcus hung up, the family sat together in the living room, looking through all the documents Jordan had shared. Photos of scholarship recipients, newspaper articles about the foundation plans, and the letter Elizabeth had tried to send 29 years ago. "Dad," Emma said quietly, "I want to help with the foundation." "Me too," Jake added. "When I'm old." "Enough." Sarah reached over and took Marcus's hand. "We all do. This is what our family does now. What we've always done, apparently." Marcus looked around at his family. His beautiful wife who supported every dream he'd ever had. His brilliant daughter who would start college next year. His curious son who saw the world as full of possibilities. "You know what the best part is?" Marcus said. "What?" Sarah asked. "Aunt Elizabeth never got to see if her work mattered. She died not knowing if those 12 kids she helped would help other kids someday. But they did. And we did. And now hundreds more will." Marcus picked up the old business card. Both halves now reunited. 27 years of carrying this mystery around, and now he finally understood the whole story. "Tomorrow I'm going to call Garfield Elementary School," he said. "I want to see the classroom where Aunt Elizabeth taught. I want to meet Carlos and tell him he's teaching in his scholarship donor's old room. Can we come with you?" Emma asked. "Of course. This is a family story now." Sarah looked at her husband with eyes full of love and pride. "You know what I think?" "What?" "I think Elizabeth Williams has been watching over you this whole time. First through Michael Jordan, then through your own success, and now through this foundation. She never got to help you directly, but she's been helping you all along." Marcus smiled, thinking about the aunt he had never met but who had shaped his entire life. "Maybe you're right. Maybe angels don't always come in the form you expect. Sometimes they wear basketball caps and eat chicken and rice," Jake said, remembering his father's old stories. "And sometimes they're teachers who die before you get to meet them, but whose love finds a way to reach you anyway," Emma added. Marcus hugged his children close. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and new opportunities. The Elizabeth Williams Foundation would need to be organized. Students would need to be chosen. Lives would need to be changed. But tonight, Marcus Williams was just a grateful son, husband, and father who finally understood that the circle of kindness in his life was much bigger and older than he had ever imagined. And somewhere in the city, Michael Jordan was probably sitting in his own home, feeling the same gratitude and peace. The circle was complete, but the story was far from over. Chicago, September 15th, 2022. 6 months later, the DePaul University auditorium was packed with people. Students, parents, teachers, and community leaders filled every seat. On the stage, a large banner read, "The Elizabeth Williams Foundation Opening Ceremony." Marcus stood backstage, wearing the same suit he had worn to meet Michael Jordan 6 months ago. But this time, he wasn't nervous. He was excited. Today was the day they would officially launch the foundation that would help 100 students every year. "You ready for this?" Sarah asked, straightening his tie. She wore a beautiful blue dress and the Elizabeth Williams Foundation pin on her lapel. "I've been ready for this my whole life," Marcus replied. "I just didn't know it until now." Emma and Jake stood nearby, also wearing foundation pins. Emma would start at DePaul University next month, studying education just like her great-aunt Elizabeth had. She planned to become a teacher and eventually work with the foundation. "Dad, look how many people came," Jake said, peeking through the stage curtain. Marcus looked out at the audience. In the front row sat his mom, wiping happy tears from her eyes. Next to her was Carlos Morales, the young man who now taught in Elizabeth's old classroom at Garfield Elementary School. Marcus had visited Carlos 3 months ago and told him the whole story. Carlos had cried when he learned that his scholarship had come from Elizabeth Williams's nephew and that he was now teaching in her old room. "It's like she's still helping kids through me," Carlos had said. "Through all of us." Also in the front row were some of the 47 students Marcus and Jordan had helped over the years. Maria Santos, now a principal. Tommy Chun, who had started his own technology company. Jessica Williams, head of nursing at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Each of them thought they were here to celebrate a new foundation. None of them knew they were really here to celebrate the continuation of a circle that had started 35 years ago. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer called out, "please welcome Marcus Williams and Michael Jordan." The audience erupted in applause. Marcus and Jordan walked onto the stage together, and the cheering got even louder. Jordan stepped up to the microphone first. Despite being one of the most famous people in the world, he looked genuinely happy to be there. "Thank you all for coming," Jordan began. 27 years ago, I met a young man who reminded me what success really means. Success isn't about how much money you make or how famous you become. Success is about using whatever gifts you have to help other people achieve their dreams. The audience listened carefully. Many of them had never heard Michael Jordan speak about anything except basketball. That young man was Marcus Williams. Jordan continued, gesturing toward Marcus. "But this foundation isn't really about Marcus and me. It's about a teacher named Elizabeth Williams who started helping kids go to college back in 1987. Jordan told the audience about Elizabeth, how she had used her own small salary to help 12 students before she died, how she had tried to help her nephew Marcus but couldn't reach him, how her legacy had lived on through Marcus's work. Elizabeth Williams never got to see if her kindness mattered, Jordan said. She died not knowing that her nephew would help dozens of students. She never knew that those students would become teachers and nurses and engineers who help others. She never knew that her small act of faith would grow into something this big." The audience was completely quiet, hanging on every word. But today, we make sure Elizabeth Williams's kindness never stops growing. Today, we promise that 100 students every year will get the chance she wanted to give to all kids who work hard and dream big. Jordan stepped back, and Marcus took the microphone. "I practiced a speech for today," Marcus said, "but I'm going to throw it away and just speak from my heart." He looked out at the audience, seeing faces he recognized and faces he didn't. But they all had one thing in common. They believed in the power of education to change lives. 35 years ago, my Aunt Elizabeth helped her first student go to college. She was a teacher who made $30,000 a year, but she found a way to change a young person's life. Marcus paused, thinking about the aunt he had never met but who had shaped everything he became. 27 years ago, Michael Jordan helped me when I thought college was impossible. But he wasn't just helping me. He was honoring my aunt's memory, even though I didn't know it at the time. Marcus pulled out the old business card, now framed and hanging around his neck. "I carried this mystery in my wallet for 27 years. Today, I'm retiring it, because the mystery is solved, and the real work is just beginning." Marcus looked at the scholarship recipients in the audience. "To the 47 young people Michael and I have already helped, you are not just success stories. You are proof that Elizabeth Williams was right. When you help one person achieve their dreams, those dreams spread to other people." Maria Santos teaches children who will grow up to help others. Tommy Chin designs apps that make people's lives easier. Jessica Williams helps sick children get better so they can chase their own dreams. The audience started clapping, but Marcus held up his hand. "But we're not here to celebrate what we've already done. We're here to promise what we're going to do next. This foundation will help 100 students every year. That's 100 futures changed, 100 families lifted up, 100 young people who will grow up to help others." Marcus looked at his own children in the audience. "My daughter Emma starts college next month. She wants to be a teacher, just like her great-aunt Elizabeth. My son Jake is already talking about how he wants to help with the foundation when he's older. This isn't just about one generation. This is about creating a tradition of kindness that will outlast all of us." Marcus stepped back from the microphone, and Jordan joined him at center stage. "We have one more announcement," Jordan said with a smile. "The first 100 Elizabeth Williams Foundation scholarships have already been awarded. The recipients are here today." The auditorium doors opened, and 100 young people walked in. They carried signs with their names and their dream careers. Maria, future doctor; James, future teacher; Lisa, future engineer. The audience jumped to their feet, applauding wildly. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face as he watched these young people, these dreamers, walk toward the stage. Each scholarship recipient placed a flower in a large vase on the stage. As they did, they said their name and their goal out loud. I'm Sarah Martinez, and I'm going to be a social worker. I'm David Park, and I'm going to be a computer programmer. I'm Amanda Johnson, and I'm going to be a nurse. One by one, they filled the vase with flowers. 100 flowers for 100 dreams, all made possible by a teacher who had died 28 years ago, but whose love had found a way to keep growing. When the last flower was placed, Marcus and Jordan stood with the 100 scholarship recipients on the stage. The audience was on their feet, cheering and crying and celebrating. Marcus looked out at the crowd and saw his mom beaming with pride. He saw Sarah and Emma and Jake applauding wildly. He saw Carlos Morales wiping tears from his eyes. Most importantly, he felt something he had never felt before. He felt like Elizabeth Williams was there with them, finally able to see what her kindness had become. Thank you, Marcus said into the microphone, his voice thick with emotion. Thank you for believing in the power of dreams. Thank you for helping us honor Elizabeth Williams. And thank you for being part of a circle of kindness that started 35 years ago and will continue long after we're gone. As the crowd cheered, Marcus put his arm around Michael Jordan's shoulders. Two men who had met by chance in a hotel restaurant 27 years ago, now partners in something much bigger than either of them had ever imagined. The Elizabeth Williams Foundation was officially launched. The circle was no longer just complete. It was multiplying. Chicago, December 20th, 2022. 3 months later, Marcus stood in his office at the Elizabeth Williams Foundation headquarters, looking out at the snowy Chicago streets. The building was a beautiful old school that had been renovated into office space. It felt perfect, a place of learning turned into a place of giving. The past 3 months had been the busiest and happiest of Marcus's life. The foundation was already changing lives. Letters poured in every day from grateful students and families. Dad, you have to see this, Emma called from across the office. Emma was home from DePaul University for winter break and had been volunteering at the foundation. She was working on a special project, tracking down all the people who had been helped by Elizabeth Williams, Marcus, and Jordan over the past 35 years. What did you find? Marcus asked, walking over to Emma's desk. Emma showed him a letter that had arrived that morning. It was from Dr. Patricia Williams, no relation, one of the 12 students Elizabeth had helped in the 1980s. Dear Elizabeth Williams Foundation, the letter read, I just learned about your organization and nearly fell out of my chair. Elizabeth Williams paid for my college education in 1989. I became a doctor because of her kindness. I now run a free clinic in Chicago that serves over 2,000 patients a year. I never knew Elizabeth had a nephew who was continuing her work. Please let me know how I can help honor her memory. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. Elizabeth helped her 33 years ago. And look what she's doing now, Emma said, showing Marcus the free clinic's website. Dr. Patricia Williams had helped thousands of people get medical care they couldn't afford. That's not all, Emma continued excitedly. I found 3 more of Elizabeth's original 12 students. One is a high school principal who started her own scholarship program. Another is a social worker who helps homeless families. The third became a successful businessman who quietly pays for kids' school supplies every year. Marcus sat down hard in his chair. All of Elizabeth's students grew up to help others. Every single one we've found so far. Dad, Aunt Elizabeth didn't just help 12 people go to college. She created 12 people who spend their lives helping others. Marcus thought about this. Elizabeth's kindness had been multiplying for over 30 years, and nobody had been keeping track. We need to find all of them, Marcus said. We need to bring them together. I was hoping you'd say that, Emma smiled. I already started making phone calls. That evening, Marcus drove to Michael Jordan's house for their weekly planning meeting. Jordan lived in a beautiful home in Highland Park, but he always made Marcus feel welcome and comfortable. They sat in Jordan's study, surrounded by photos and trophies, going over foundation business. In 3 months, they had received over 3,000 scholarship applications. Choosing only 100 students had been one of the hardest things Marcus had ever done. I wish we could help them all, Marcus said, looking at the applications. We will, Jordan replied confidently. Maybe not this year or next year, but eventually. This is just the beginning, Marcus. Jordan pulled out a folder Marcus had never seen before. I have something to show you. I've been working on this for months. Inside the folder were architectural plans for a building. A beautiful, modern structure, with classrooms, computer labs, and meeting spaces. What is this? Marcus asked. The Elizabeth Williams Education Center, Jordan said with a smile. I want to build it next to the foundation headquarters. A place where our scholarship recipients can get tutoring, career counseling, and support throughout college. Marcus stared at the plans. The building was designed to help hundreds of students at a time. Michael, this must cost millions of dollars. It does, and I'm happy to pay for it. Marcus, I make more money in a year than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. It's time to put that money where it can do the most good. But why? You've already done so much. Jordan leaned back in his chair, looking thoughtful. Do you remember what you told me that night at the Palmer house? About your biggest dream? Marcus thought back. I said I wanted to help kids like me. You said you wanted to prove that dreams can come true, even for kids who don't have much money. Marcus, in the past 3 months, we've proven that 100 times over. But why stop at 100? Why not 1,000? Why not 10,000? Marcus felt his heart racing. You want to help 10,000 students? I want to help as many as we can reach. Elizabeth Williams helped 12 students with a teacher's salary. Imagine what we can do with real resources and a real plan. Jordan showed Marcus more papers. Corporate sponsorships, celebrity endorsements, government partnerships. The Elizabeth Williams Foundation was already attracting attention from major donors. Marcus, we're going to build something that lasts forever. Something Elizabeth would be proud of. Marcus looked at the plans for the education center again. In the corner of the main blueprint, someone had drawn a small garden with a bench. The label read, Elizabeth Williams Memorial Garden, a place to dream. You thought of everything. Marcus said. We thought of everything. Jordan corrected. This is our project, not mine. I'm just the guy with the checkbook. You're the guy with the heart that makes it all work. Marcus's phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Come home soon. The kids have a surprise for you. I should get home, Marcus said. Sarah says the kids have something to show me. Jordan walked Marcus to the door. Before you go, I want you to know something. That night at the Palmer House Hotel, meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because of basketball, not because of business. Because you reminded me what life is really about. Marcus hugged his friend and partner. Thank you, Michael, for everything. Marcus drove home through the snowy streets, thinking about Elizabeth Williams Education Center and 10,000 scholarship recipients and dreams that never stop growing. When he walked into his house, Emma and Jake were waiting in the living room with Sarah. They all looked excited about something. What's the surprise? Marcus asked. Emma handed him an envelope. Open it. Inside was a letter from Garfield Elementary School. It was signed by Carlos Morales and 20 other teachers. Dear Mr. Williams, the letter read, we would like to rename our school the Elizabeth Williams Elementary School. Your aunt taught here for 15 years and changed hundreds of lives. It would be an honor to carry her name into the future. Marcus sat down slowly, overwhelmed by emotion. There's more, Jake said, barely able to contain his excitement. Sarah handed Marcus another envelope. This one contained a letter from the mayor of Chicago. Dear Mr. Williams and Mr. Jordan, it read, the city of Chicago would like to declare November 15th as Elizabeth Williams Day, a day to celebrate education, kindness, and the power of helping others achieve their dreams. November 15th. The exact date Marcus had met Jordan at the Palmer House Hotel 27 years ago. How did they know about that date? Marcus asked. Emma grinned. I may have mentioned it when I called the mayor's office. Marcus looked around at his family. His brilliant daughter who was following in Elizabeth's footsteps. His curious son who already wanted to help with the foundation. His loving wife who had supported every dream he'd ever had. You know what this means? Marcus said. What? Sarah asked. It means Elizabeth Williams finally gets to see that her kindness mattered. Through the school, through the foundation, through all of us. She gets to see that helping one person really can change the world. Marcus walked over to the window and looked out at the Chicago skyline. Somewhere out there, 100 students were studying late into the night, working toward their dreams. In a few months, 100 more would join them. Dr. Patricia Williams was treating patients at her free clinic. Carlos Morales was teaching children in Elizabeth's old classroom. Maria Santos was helping new teachers find their way, all because a teacher with a small salary had decided to help. One student in 1987, Marcus pulled out his phone and called Jordan. "We need to make the education center bigger," Marcus said when Jordan answered. Jordan laughed. "How much bigger?" "Big enough for all the dreams we're going to help come true." "Now you're thinking like Elizabeth Williams," Jordan said. "Big dreams. Unlimited possibilities." Marcus hung up and rejoined his family in the living room. They spent the evening planning for Elizabeth Williams' Day and talking about the future of the foundation. As the night grew late and the family headed to bed, Marcus stayed downstairs for a few more minutes. He took out the framed business card one last time and looked at it. The mystery was solved. The circle was complete. But the story was just beginning. Somewhere in Chicago, there was a young person working late, dreaming big, and needing help. Just like Marcus had been 27 years ago. Just like the students Elizabeth had helped 35 years ago, the Elizabeth Williams Foundation would find them. The circle would keep growing. And Elizabeth Williams, teacher, dreamer, and believer in the power of education, would finally see that every act of kindness is really just the beginning of something beautiful. Marcus turned off the lights and headed upstairs to his family. Tomorrow would bring new applications, new dreams, and new possibilities. The greatest story ever told isn't about one person helping another. It's about how that help never really ends. That we'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and tell us your city or country. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear stories of hope and kindness. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories that will inspire and amaze you. We share tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, just like Marcus and the mysterious stranger who changed his life. Most importantly, please share this video with your friends and family. In a world that sometimes feels divided, stories like this remind us of our shared humanity and the power we all have to make a difference in someone's life. You never know, your small act of kindness today might be the beginning of someone else's amazing journey. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the mysterious stranger who changes a life, or maybe someone will change yours. That's the beautiful thing about kindness. It never really ends. Thanks for listening. And remember, every dream deserves a chance.